Welcome back to Good Enough Garage. On this episode, Ninja Stars. So now that we have our aluminum plate fitting nicely and perfectly onto the bell housing with all the holes matching, now we will turn to the part where we actually have to lock out the input shaft of the transmission. And to do that, we're going to use a piece of the original flywheel / pressure plate from the Lexus GS458 transmission. Now, I've said this before in my videos, when buying components for your EV conversion, buy as much as you can. So do your research first, and then find out if you need things like the drive shaft or the pressure plate or a bell housing or a transmission bracket. And if you think you may need it, go ahead and buy it. That's what I did in my case. I purchased this flywheel. Now, I've already made a video a few months ago on how I took that flywheel apart and extracted the key piece here out of it, this Ninja Star, if you will. And the reason this is important is because it will match the input shaft perfectly. Okay, this has the right amount of teeth, the right pitch, cut, whatever it may be called. We know this will slip on there. And then it has already a few holes on here. And before you start screaming at the monitor, don't use these holes because you will not have enough torque to keep that input shaft from spinning. Yes, I am going to use these 4 holes, but I will also enlarge these 4 on the further outside, now away from the center. I will enlarge these and I will put big bolts in here as well. So there will be total of what I hope will be 8 bolts holding this down, and it will mount. So it will mount somewhere in there inside the transmission with the plate covering it. Obviously this is facing out, I think, so we'll flip it over. This goes in here or in here. We'll figure it all out. But the big challenge is figuring out where to drill these holes, okay? Ideally, what I would have done is I would have taken a big plate. And if I was to do this again, I would get a big aluminum plate. Let's say it's maybe something like 20 inches by 20 inches. I would mount this in the middle of it firmly. Then I would stand the transmission on top of it and make sure this fit perfectly around the splines of the input shaft. And then wherever the holes landed, that's where I would, mark them, drill them, attach that plate, and then cut it out, if you will, right? So I would work from the inside out. Unfortunately, I didn't do that. I knew I wasn't doing it, and something I had to live with, and now it's a little bit harder to find the center. But that's where we'll turn back to our $1 million template here, and we're going to set it down. This one comes with a pre-drilled hole. Now, unfortunately, this hole is way bigger than what we need, okay? There's a reason for it, because it takes a coupling, and then this goes inside that coupling, and you weld it all if you're working with steel. Because we're working with aluminum, we really don't need a hole in our plate. We're just going to use the hole to help us find the center. Okay, so here I'm just going to show you how this thing slips on there. Now, something we observed is that the input shaft spins. And one of the things I can do is I can measure from the center of the input shaft to, let's say, one of these holes. Some are a little bit butchered from me drilling out the rivets. So let's say I pick that one. I can use a caliper, and that will get me to what I would call pretty good, to that hole and then center. And I could live with that, and I could also get it to this hole as well. But that is really assuming that the center of our plate is also on center. The other idea that I have is that I'm going to put something in these holes that will help me mark them, Then I'll put the plate over and I'll try to spin this, and with the pins sticking out of these, I'll try to etch a circle, and then anywhere on that circle I can drill a hole for these openings and I'll be perfectly on them. Okay, so that's something I'm going to shoot for next. Okay guys, so here I have these pokers. I'll show you if you can see the tip on them. They have a very precise tip, and I picked one that fits pretty well in this hole. It's a little bit loose, so I might try to find a tighter fit, but this is going to be general idea. We'll put it in and we'll spin it and we'll try to score the inside of that plate, because the motto in this garage is work harder, not smarter. All right guys, as you can see, nothing is easy. This bit is too long, so I won't be able to slide it on the transmission, on the shaft, because this is going to bottom out, so I got to cut it. So here we go. Okay, let's do some trial fits. So this is the star, and it's going to go on here. I have a piece of electrical tape just to keep it from bottoming out, because I want it as forward as possible. So now it looks like it's still, this needs to be hammered in a bit more. I don't think I cut it short enough, but that's okay because I can make it go forward. So here you can see how it's scoring the opposite end. I don't really want that, but that's the idea on the front. Okay, so if this goes forward, if I can pull this forward and spin it, this idea is going to work. Let's bolt this down and see what happens. Bad ideas, take two. Okay, so I'm just gonna have 4 bolts on here on each corner. We're gonna tighten these down. So we went with a zip tie here for the win, but I don't have enough torqueability here. So let's see where that pin is. So what I'm gonna do is see if I can do something like this. And I'm sure there's like 9 easier ways to do this stupid thing. But, oh dang it. Oh shit. Let's see if this will work. Oh, this will break. Pretty sure it was gonna snap. Yep. Gosh darn it.
Idiot!
Surprise. this does slide. So this was the whole idea. Obviously it bombed. Right, bad ideas, take 3. I'm just gonna make sure this is nice and snug, just with 4 anchor bolts. Okay, so the idea is pull that thing forward. It does move forward, and then spin it. That's the part we're having issues with. So I'm gonna see if I can do a little weaseling here. I need to give myself a bit of leverage. Come on, spin around, dude. Why aren't you spinning? Okay, I should not have cut physics class. Okay, in theory this works. Come on. Oh, the irony here. Trying to make the motor spin. Well, I hear something, so let's see what happens. Victory! Victory! All right, dudes, I hope you can see this ring here. See, that's what we're after. That's what this Neanderthal mechanism did. Who needs calculus when you got baling wire, right? So that etched it like so. I am going to now remove this hero from our Ninja Star. I'm going to pop this out, and I'm going to see how we go about drilling some holes around this diameter. Again, we're just still making a template, and then we'll transfer that over to our aluminum plate. So here is the general idea. And if you can see, all these holes intercept that line, that circle. So that's what I'm going to go for. As long as I punch these holes on that outline of that circle, I should be good. So not bad for a good enough garage. Not bad at all. I want to bring you guys in here for a shaky cam mid-project update. This is just temporary. I'm just bolting these down here so that I can drill out the holes a bit bigger. 3 of the holes were perfectly on center. This one here is slightly in, but I don't think this Ninja Star is perfect. This is just kind of what you get. But I want to show you something more importantly. Here's why I did what I did with that, etching that circle. I don't know if you guys can tell from looking at it, but this is not perfectly on center. It's closer to this edge, this spline, these splines, whatever, are closer to that edge than they are here to here. So had I centered it, maybe we'd have a problem, or maybe I'm going to have a problem now. Anyway, just a report from the field. No, folks, my hand is not shaking, okay? The camera is in the tripod. Yes, I just bent this drill on the last hole. I drilled the other 3, they're done. Drilling a 4th hole. I don't know what happened. I bent the drill. It was about 50% done. I think it's through the bracket, just not through the plate. And is it an oddball size? Oh, you betcha. It's a weird size. So now I get to sprint to Lowe's and see if they have it. What is this? 13:30 seconds. I mean, why not? Okay, guys. Since this is a little bit wonky, I think 1, 2, 3. These 3 holes are perfectly on this center, on this etched line of the circle. This one's slightly in. And I don't want to forget how this goes, so I'm going to punch number 1 on both this dude and then right here. So this is basically marked with these doodads that's where 1 goes. That's our firing order, okay? Remember that. So now I'm going to undo these bolts, raise this up a little bit because it doesn't quite reach when it's flush with the plate, the input shaft. I mean, it might tickle it, but not be firm on there. So I'm going to raise this, put some spacers on there, under it, new bolts, and we'll try it on. So these were just temporary. I think I used just 3/8 right here. They're close to 10 mils. For now, I'm gonna use these 10 mils. An old timer told me that these are strong, like grade 8 quality, and they're tapered because when I put them in the aluminum plate from the back, front, whatever, I want them to be flush so that I can also mount the transmission bracket. So we'll do a bolt, and then we'll just use these castle nuts as spacers. Hey, looky there. There's our 1. So that, a locking washer just for funsies. Are these right ones? Okay. Well, did I already wonk this up? How is this possible? You gotta be kidding me. Oh, duh. You didn't see that. Here. Let me know if you think 10 mils will work. I'm gonna probably put 10 mils in there too, so there's gonna be 2 bolts per branch of the star or whatever stars have, tentacle. Again, it's not even that late right now. I don't know why my brain's not working. That spacer, temporary spacer, this, and this. Hopefully that's enough spacers. It's just slightly under ½ inch of spacers right now. Metric socket time. Of course, 16 is too small. All right, 17 it is. All right. Well, gentlemen, if nothing else, I'll get my crunches in today. And of course, I'm missing one of the pins. Here she is. How do I want to do this? Well, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it this way. I think I'm buckling up somewhere. Shit. I think it's buckling. Maybe the hole in the template is on center. Maybe I screwed something up. I wouldn't be surprised one bit. Okay. Well, that fit. That doesn't. Shit. Something's not right. Great. Just great. Not right, but can we fake it till we make it, people? Nope. Well, after all that, this sucks. I think what I could do is after all that big game talk, I could just go back to using my old screws here, because these go in. So I do need the wiggability after all, I guess. Might be one of those things that, hey, I won't tell if you don't tell. Shit. Not my proudest moment. And I don't know if these will fit. Well, the good news is that this is just a template. It's an expensive template and an expensive F-up. I do have another way of doing this.